Hello, friends and quizzers. It's me, Quizmaster Jack, with Buzzword again. Week 27. Gonna do pop culture and sports. If by chance this is your first time watching somebody play Buzzword, each question is going to be a series of clues about one thing. The clues go from more obscure to more well-known. The sooner you buzz in and get it right, the more points you get. It's a simulation of Quiz Bowl. What more can I say? I'm just going to get into it. Question 1.
This album includes a #1 hit whose bridge references Notorious B.I.G. with the line, "Make it all back in one loop, give me the loot." Its title track mentions men who taught the singer love, patience, and pain. For 10 points, what 2019 Ariana Grande album contains 7 rings and a title breakup song?
I don't know. Is it just... I think it's just Thank You Next. Okay, yeah. I was like, let's run through all the Ariana Grande albums I know. Not a lot. Not a lot of tracks by Ariana Grande I know either, but I just had to access which one of the titles that I know could have been a breakup song. And Thank You Next works out. That was all the math that was going on in my head. All right. Must give at least a subtitle. This is absolutely a video game. Gotta be a video game.
On this show, lantern releases fireflies that assemble into the shape of a constellation. A stranger from the sky befriends the Harfoots in this show, one of the most expensive ever made. Amazon Prime's...
It's the Rings of Power? Yeah, there we go. I was wrong. It was not a video game. I was very confident that that's going to be a video game. But yeah, with all these offshoot shows, that makes sense. Between Rings of Power and House of the Dragon, the dueling fantasy book adaptations going on right now, really. I guess neither one is putting out new shows, but earlier this year there were... This year? Maybe. I don't know if those actually came out in 2023 or if they're 2022 jams. In the recent past, Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power, and House of the Dragon were facing off. The Harfoots sounded very familiar. But then Amazon Prime, puts it over the top as absolutely going to be Rings of Power. I guess Harfoots could have been in Game of Thrones stuff.
One lead of this musical proposes during a TV performance by Mitch Miller and the Sing-Along Gang. Both reprises of Live in Living Color in this musical occur in the FBI office of Carl Hanratty. For 10 points, what 2011 musical is adapted from a film starring Leonardo DiCaprio as a...
Oh, yeah. Hanratty. Hanratty was Thomas Hanks. Thomas Hanks's character in the movie Catch Me If You Can. That's why it sounded familiar. But taking that knowledge that was siloed off, Thomas Hanks's character in Catch Me If You Can, and also remembering that Catch Me If You Can was made into a musical. Those just didn't interact until they got to the end and referenced directly the movie.
In 2022, this man settled a lawsuit brought by Rita Chatterton, a former referee. His daughter, Stephanie, briefly succeeded him as
it's... Yeah. Don't give me that. This is Vince McMahon. Stephanie McMahon is a person in wrestling. She's a very important person. I think she is some sort of chief officer in WWE. And Vince McMahon was briefly kicked out of the WWE. And Stephanie McMahon took over. I don't know. I get all of my wrestling knowledge through secondhand from video game podcasters.
This woman secretly tortures the grocer Collignon as payback for berating his employee Lucien. This woman stages globe-trotting photos with her father's garden gnome in a 2001 film. Audrey Tautou.
Yeah. Thought it was Amelie. Those were some very French names. So a very French 2001 movie is pretty much Amelie, and then it definitely locked in when they said Audrey Tato. Now I'm just thinking about the McElroy bit about Amelie. I think they made an Amelie musical too.
This country was home to the Slickers, whose song Johnny Too Bad appeared in the film The Harder They Come, starring this country's Jimmy Cliff. The compilation Legend included songs by a singer from this country, such as One Love.
Yeah, One Love is Bob Marley. And if you want a famous singer from Jamaica, you mentioned Bob Marley. Jimmy Cliff, that was really familiar. I thought it was Canada for some reason, but nah, all Jamaica.
Brian Wilkes requests the players help fighting these animals in the Fallout 3 mission, Those. Empires of the Undergrowth centers on these animals, the subject of a Will Wright game inspired.
Okay. That's Sim Ant, baby. That was a very specific Fallout 3 reference. Oh, you know how long it's been since I've played Fallout 3? Probably like a decade and a half. I don't think I may not have played Fallout 3 since I moved to California. Nah, I must have played Fallout 3 since I moved to California. Either way, it's been a long time. So, hats off to whoever got it up for that one. Maybe I'm remembering that quest. Because I think, was that the one? I think it's in Fallout 3 where there's like superheroes, some people pretending to be superheroes in the wastes. And like one of them can control ants, I think. Yeah, so that may be how that quest culminates. Well, not the strongest video game performance there, despite getting a 16. I just want to get all the video game questions on the first clue. I gotta bump up. I'm still chasing the person on top of video game knowledge in 2023. So all those Nintendo ones at the beginning of the year really brought me down. But yeah, Sim Ant, which I never played. It's one of the few sim games I never played. Played Sim Tower, played Sim Earth, played a whole bunch of Sim City. Especially SimCity 3000? Yeah, SimCity 3000. Never Sim Ant.
A Family Guy parody of this magazine uses the line, "I'd be more apathetic if I weren't so lethargic."
That's gotta be the New Yorker. There's no knowledge there, but that just sounds like somebody, that's just something, a joke that would be made about a parody of the New Yorker. No knowledge, just vibes.
In this film, Stu bleeds and says that he became a killer due to Billy's peer pressure.
Let's Scream. Yes. The Stu as played by Matthew Lillard. That's the big reveal in Scream. Spoilers for the first Scream, which is almost 25 years old now. Yeah, there's two killers. It's Stu and Billy Loomis.
This fictional character appeared on a 1998 Time magazine cover that asked, "Is feminism dead?" She briefly dated Larry, who was played by Robert Downey Jr. While working at Cage and Fish, she hallucinated a dancing baby. For 10 points.
There we go. Ally McBeal, the Hooga Chaka baby. Bringing Blue Swede into the... Blue Swede. Hooked on a Feeling. Yeah, 127's not bad. Another 10 for 10. I'm just getting all the questions right. All of these, I don't think I'm actually learning anything about pop music that's helping me get these questions. They just happen to be things I can get. That was a good one. 127 should be one of my top scores for the year. And that's it for pop culture. I'm going to throw it on over to sports. All right, the dreaded name the team first off, so I have no knowledge to try to predict which sport we're in. I'm gonna go for the long shot here and say hockey.
This team made a Super Bowl with an injury-prone QB nicknamed Crystal Chandelier. Its first Super Bowl team featured a back who celebrated by flapping his arms.
It's gotta be the Falcons, because they're talking about the Dirty Bird. And I think it was Chris Chandler or Tim Chandler. Yeah, the one that led them. Here we go again with the Vikings trauma. the one that the team that beat the Vikings and then got beat by the Broncos. Always. Gary Anderson. Sorry. Yeah. I think it's Chris Chandler. Yeah, Deion Sanders doing the Dirty Bird.
Before LeBron James, this 5th overall pick was the original subject of announcer Kevin Harlan's catchphrase, "with no regard for human life." After winning his only title, this man yelled, "Anything is possible."
Okay. More Minnesota sports drama. I don't know where most of the writers for NAQT are based now, but talk about the 98 Falcons, former Timberwolves icon who won his only title with the Celtics. Minnesota sports fans are self-flagellating.
The OPHR urged the boycott of an Olympics in this city to pressure Avery Brundage. Peter Norman expressed solidarity with two 200-meter athletes in this city. U.S. sprinters John Carlos.
Okay, it's Mexico City then. So that's the Black Panther salute that they're just about to say the names, but it's John Carlos, and I don't remember the other guy's name. Future Jack. We'll put the name of the guy up here, because Present Jack doesn't remember. Goes back Bob Beeman, who was an answer a couple of weeks back, also had a little bit of a protest because after those two did the Black Power salute, somebody in the IOC said, like, yeah, we're going to take your medals away if you do something like that. And I think when Bob Beeman won with his Olympic record-setting, world record-setting long jump, he went up there with no shoes to see if, as a form of silent protest. And I don't think he got punished for it. Watch John Boys. Take that off your bingo card. Watch the Bob Emergency. It's good stuff.
In 1986, this NHL team lost a Game 7 on a pass by Steve Smith that hit his own goalie and went in. This first former WHA team to win the Stanley Cup won 5 titles from 1984 to 1990 with Mark Messier. 50 goals in 39 games were scored by Wayne Gretzky.
It's the Oilers then. Yeah, they said Messier. I should have got it off of that, but I was hesitant. I wasn't sure. But you talk about the great one and his early time. It's with the Oilers.
This city hosted a Game 7 loss that turned on a 3-run homer by visitor Moose Skowron. In the 1950s, Baseball it was names. The only city in the Midwest to win a World Series. Lou Burdett and Eddie Matthews relocated from Boston to, for 10 points, what city that, before Atlanta, was the home of the Braves?
They went... Is it Chicago? Milwaukee Braves. Okay. All right. I'm going to be honest, I talked in the middle of that one and may have missed a clue, but I don't think that actually would have helped me because I'm not great with older baseball.
This man was the defensive coordinator for the champion 2000 Baltimore Ravens. This head coach lost a playoff game thanks to last-second penalties on Adam Jones and Vontaze Burfict. An 0-7 playoff record is held by for 10 points.
No. Marvin Lewis. Yeah, I knew. I was completely thinking about the wrong thing there. I was thinking about like Brian Billick and then Mike Tomlin, and I just buzzed in, and yeah, Marvin Lewis. They said Vontaze Burfict was a Bengal at the time, so I was asking who was the Bengals head coach at that time, and that one I should have got. It's kind of in my own head, pursuing leads that were not fruitful.
In 2023, this sport crowned its first world champion from mainland Europe when Luca Bracel beat Mark Selby. The Crucible is the venue of this sports world championship, which has been won 7 times by Ronnie O'Sullivan.
Oh, that
6
sounds
color
familiar.
balls and 15 red balls.
Okay. Yeah, Ronnie O'Sullivan's a snooker player. That's why it sounded familiar. The Crucible. Snooker.
In March 2020, this basketball coach was diagnosed with the flu, not COVID, after collapsing during the Big Ten tournament. This man coached Royce White at his alma mater, where as a player he was nicknamed the Mayor. For 10 points, what former Chicago Bulls and Iowa State coach now leads Nebraska?
No clue. I have no clue about this. So we'll just try for Lucky Johnson. Nope. Don't know who that is at all. Nothing on Fred Hoiberg for me. Not a question for me.
Starting in the 1990s, this league was dominated by the so-called Seven Sisters teams. The victors of this league receive a decoration whose name means Little Shield. The Scudetto is awarded to the winner of, for 10 points, what top-flight soccer league whose teams include Lazio and Roma?
What's the Italian league? It's Serie A? It is. Okay, so we had... It's not going to be hockey. I bet it's going to be baseball. So I think we had 2 football questions. We had 2 basketball. I think we're going to be on football here.
Like the Red Sox, this team has had 15 of the last 60 AL batting champs. A Cuban rookie for this team, who led the AL in hitting in 1964, entered the Hall of Fame in 2022. The only catcher to win an AL batting title played on for...
So the Twins? Yeah. I thought it might have been the Twins with the batting record thing, because like Arise recently, Mauer, I think Morneau may have won a batting title one year. They would just have like just good workmanly hitters on the Minnesota Twins always. All right, and ending on some Minnesota sports pride at the end, where we talk about how good the Twins are. Except when it comes to like actually winning games in the playoffs. Anyway, that's it for me. Hope you had fun watching. I had a good time playing. Looking forward to next week already. Hope to see you there. Thanks for watching.